total academic exercise, and that is why they discontinued that process. And in that case, the court will normally strike it out. So where is the victory? But because, you know, I don't know why the Pro-Wike group likes political masturbation so much. Maybe it helps them to relieve the pressure of the fact that they cannot dip their hand into the public purse of Rivers people. Now you don't go to town and say he won. You didn't win anything. Look at it here. Governor Fubara withdrew it because there was no need appealing over where 2024 budget should be presented. It's like arguing over where 1999 budget should be presented. The taxes have been paid. The taxes have been spent. So to save the Supreme Court time, so that you don't go about, you know, litigating over somebody who is a matter that is dead, they withdrew it, and that is SC/CV 1071/2024. And let me read what was filed in court for you to understand that these people are just local propagandists. Now, between Governor of Rivers State and the sacked lawmakers. Now, notice of withdrawal of appeal pursuant to Order 11, Rule 14 of the Supreme Court Rule 2024 and under the inherent jurisdiction of this honorable court. Take notice that the appellant, which is Governor of Rivers State, hearing intents and wholly, that is voluntarily, withdraws his appeal against all the respondents in this appeal. The appeal has been overtaken by invent, dated this 6th day of February 2025, filed by Professor Yusuf Ali, SAN, and Chief Chris Uche, Toyo Yotibo, and so on and so forth. And let me read it again. Take notice that the appellant, hearing intent and wholly, withdraws his appeal against all the respondents in this appeal. The appeal has been overtaken by invent. Is it that they didn't go to school or whatever they take in FCT? Look at it. The appeal has been overtaken by invent. And what is it, this invent? The appeal is on 2024 budget where it should be presented. 2024 have expired. Revenue collected. Revenue spent. And the man says, by the same Order 11 Rule 14 of the Supreme Court rules, why should we go and be wasting the time to discussing about a dead matter? Are we going to collect new taxes? Are we going to do new expenditures? The matter is dead. And that is why they withdrew the matter. And the matter was struck out. It is the procedure. So the information flying about is just, to me, is a local propaganda that maybe gives them a temporary relief of the fact that they find it difficult to live with the fact that the treasury of the people was not open to them to continue plundering as they used to do. So therefore, you say, oh, Supreme, who wins? Nobody won, nobody lost. It was a mere, they are the one who lost because the matter is dead. 2024 have been collected and spent, despite all the noise they were making. And now we are in 2025. So there was nothing that warrants all this propaganda. So and that's why I want you media people to also have it. It was a voluntary withdrawal because it had been overtaken. And the reason was spelled out here, because the appeal had been overtaken by invent, and the invent that 2024 have expired. It is on that ground that the case was struck out, and that has ended the matter. The issue of who is speaker or not is still also pending before the appeal court. The crux of the matter is very simple. You wake up one morning, nobody forced you. You left the party upon which you were elected, the People's Democratic Party, and you joined APC because you thought in your desperation that when you join APC, Aswaju will give you the necessary backing to fire political bazooka into Rivers and then illegally remove the governor. And you are singing, on your mandate we shall stand. But when you discover that it's like passing through the rock of Gibraltar, what did you do? You turn back again and say, oh, I'm still in PDP. Because it wasn't about the love of Aswaju or anything. It was about people who thought that they can capitalize on the fact that they woke up in the morning because of their sycophantic nature, or they will be saying, Mr. President, by mouth, and thinking that will give them access to steal what belongs to the people. And when that could not be possible, then they turned back again. So at the time you declared, there was no division in the political party that elected you. Your seat automatically became vacant. Whatever is left of that House of Assembly, whether it was 3 or 4, formed the legitimate quorum. And Supreme Court has also decided it in the Pialon case in Plateau. When those people moved, and what was left of that House of Assembly, the Supreme Court said they formed the quorum to transact the business of the House. And that was what happened. It's not like 4 people are sitting. They are the one filing cases. They can remove all those cases and INEC will conduct by-election and they will have the full constitutional quorum. But right now, the Supreme Court recognizes the quorum of 4 because that is what is left. So we should discuss the illegality of your action, the desperation of your action of leaving the place we elected at the time there was no division. Upon that, there was a legitimate orders and rulings of court that backed the emergence of Eddie Sinehi as Speaker and then later on Oko Jumbo as the Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly. Government is a will, it must continue to run. The madness of 1 man or 2 men cannot stop the will of government from running. So if you want the right thing to be completely done, then you stop, junketing from one court to another and allow a by-election to be held, and if you are popular, you will win. But desperation will make you be in PDP, you be in APC, you be in SDP, just 1 man in all political parties, because you are aiming for the treasury of the people, what does not even belong to you. So, the very moment you left, and it was televised live, is on all TV stations, Nigerians have the record. And that's why Nigerians will be waiting to see how this matter will be resolved. Whether we're going to, invent new legislation on this. They publicly left. They swore to an affidavit in court. Are you saying court affidavit and declaration does not matter again? That I have left as far back as December 11 from what he said? And upon that, there was a change of leadership based on what is legally left in the House. And then you're running from one court to another. And then when you think it's not working for you, you abandon the Aswaju and his party that you jumped overnight, that you claim that you love. You now came back and say, oh, there was never a time we left. To achieve what? Because you're desperate, you think it can be possible to use the State House of Assembly to destabilize the government. Unfortunately for them, the government have been running effectively and executing more transformational and intergenerational projects, more than ever before. Taking bold projects like the Trans-Calabari Highway and other big projects that are taken about, the Ring Road, which past government could not do. And you thought that by gathering some political, butterflies to hibernate in Abuja, they will make the state ungovernable because they're in the House of Assembly, and that you push them to leave the party and they lost their seat, and suddenly when you see it's not working, you're becoming more desperate day by day. So all these things we need to understand is about desperation of 1 man that is uncalled for. Democracy is not individualistic. It doesn't belong to anybody. And for somebody who is so humble, so accommodating, like Governor Fubara, all these things was unwarranted. All this assault and all this distraction was unwarranted. Today, they are debasing our court, putting our court in difficult moments, obtaining injunctions from Maraba to Nyanya, to every part of this country. Because 1 man wants to seize what does not belong to him. You have a governor who, even me, I can't do that. I will tell you this one won't work. But to tell you how accommodating and how transparent that he is, he allowed him to appoint all the commissioners, all of them. He allowed him appoint SSG, everything, chief of staff, his cousin. He allowed him appoint the leadership of the House of Assembly. He allowed him retain his local government chairman and the Argon leadership the way he wanted. All commissioners, even the security details, the ADs, everything that makes a government. Even revenue generating agencies that were there, he left it. No governor, ask all the governors, even governors who are listening to me today knows that no governor in Nigeria have allowed that. But Governor Fubara allowed it. Is this same man you're saying is not a lawyer, is not respectful, is ungrateful? He allowed you practically have his liver so that peace can reign. Despite the fact that you control the House of Assembly, you handpick them, you have all the commissioners, you have all the special advisors, you have the local government, you have the source of revenue generation, you have everything that makes a government. It still was not enough for you. It's not a Fubara's problem. It's your problem. It's your character. It's who you are. You are intolerant. You can't stay in a conducive environment. And that is why this fight started. The man can't surrender his kidney for peace to reign. As a human being, has to stand up, wanting to even impeach him, even at a time that he's not even up to 2-3 months old in office. At that moment, the humanity in him has to stand up in defense of himself, his family name, his generation, and the state resources. And then since that time, it has been from one trouble to another. Local government chairman tenure will expire. You go and concoct something in a 2-bedroom in Emuha and say they can stay in office forever because you want them to have access to the resources of the people even when they were not elected. They now say, okay, they want to do the election that you said they didn't want to do. Bombs started flying everywhere. Party officers started being shot. Headquarters of council, even after the election head, were being bombed left, right, and center. The IG have not even arrested anybody, even when we know the bombers. Nothing has happened. So there was nothing that warrants all these things. Now, multiple cases are being filed. If you go to Federal High Court and Appeal Court, there's no less than 80 cases. Because one man is seeking to take that which does not belong to him. But I want to express my love and happiness for Rivers people and the entire opposition family and reasonable people living in APC for standing firm that there should be a limit to political madness of this nature. You now want to turn our courts so that children yet unborn can feel that our court people cannot trust it? How can the court legalize that lawmakers who decamp before the very eye of every Nigerian are going to still be lawmakers so that you make an attempt, an illegal attempt to remove the governor? That would be an invitation to anarchy. It will not work. It doesn't matter what you obtain anywhere. It will not, because everybody saw it. There's that which is visible to the blind and clear to the deaf. So, for those who are joining us, the essence of this was to dispel the roadside gossip and rumors that have been sharing online and everywhere that Supreme Court ruled in their favor, that Supreme Court did not deliver any judgment today that affected the legitimacy of the Oko Jumbo leadership. Supreme Court did not deliver any judgment which Fubara lost. What Supreme Court did today was Governor Fubara, in his great wisdom, invoked and relying on the provisions of Order 11, Rule 14 of the Supreme Court rules, realizing that his appeal over the issue of where 2024 budget should be presented knows very well that 2024 has passed. Taxes have been collected for 2024. Revenue 2024 have been spent. And in order to save the Supreme Court time, because it's not like those fighting who are professional litigants, who have injunction left, right, and center. He's a man who believes in due process and decency. He decided to withdraw it because what are we appealing against? Are we going to represent it again? It's like representing 1980 budget or 1990 budget. Are we going to collect taxes again to back it up, the expenditure? No, it has been spent. And people can see where those monies were applied. And based on that, Governor of Rivers State urged his lawyer, led by Yusuf Ali and Chris Uche, to withdraw the appeal, which is now an act of academic exercise. And the reason for the withdrawal was spelled out, but they choose to misinform the public because they want to enjoy temporary relief. They have been in hibernation for weeks and months now. So they want something that will make their supporters to feel something is still happening. Now, and that's why it clearly said here, the appeal is being withdrawn because the appeal has been overtaken by Invent. And on that ground, the court now struck it out. So I think that has sufficiently brought this matter to an end because, like I said before, the 2024 budget became spent on 31st December of 2024 fiscal year. So the only reasonable thing to do is to withdraw the appeal and have it, dismissed. So the Supreme Court, being a very busy court, it would be most unwise to distract the Honorable Court with academic appeals without any practical value that will come out of it. So it is this whole thing that these political, chains are celebrating. There's no Supreme Court judgment against Governor Fubara or against Oko Jumbo, who is the rightful and authentic and still presiding Speaker of Rivers State House of Assembly. So these are all just outdated political propaganda. This appeal was voluntarily withdrawn by the governor, and because the 2024 budget cycle have expired and it has been struck out. And I think that is very clear, and there's nothing that warrants anybody to panic. Those who believe in the freedom and liberation that have happened in Rivers is the reason why I'm even speaking on this matter. Because those who want to be having temporary political relief can continue. But it's just because of those who are committed, millions of Nigerians who are in support of the liberation and freedom the people are enjoying today, represented by the leadership of Governor Fubara. It's the reason why I decided to speak on this particular issue. And also that the case on the issue of membership of that House of Assembly is at the appeal court. The case is treated by APP. Is at the appeal court. The case where the the judge at the Federal High Court said that it was a pre-election matter, issue of somebody cross-carpeting. And that's what is at the appeal court. And we believe strongly that justice will be done because it's not a pre-election matter. And because Nigerians, everybody saw it, it's a test case for our judiciary. How do you navigate, or how do you go against the fact that Nigerians saw these desperados acting under the instruction of one man, leave their political party at the time there was no division into APC, and then jumped out in the morning again and said they are returning back to PDP? How are they now going to have that legitimacy and moral right to call themselves lawmakers to achieve their uphill, impossible task of attempting to illegally remove Fubara from office? Well, this is what all this boast is all about. And as God has been so kind, the man has, despite all these desperate distractions, the bombing, the killing, everything, has maintained the school and continued to deliver on the promises he made to Rivers people on Rivers First agenda. So that having been said, and also it's very important, I salute the leaders of our party, especially the board of trustee led by Adolphus Nwabara and the secretary McAfee, and the governors forum. We have said this many times, that Damagu and Samuel Anyanwu are agents fully oiled for the purpose of ensuring that PDP is served the fate of ANPP and AD. And as our daughters and fathers, they willingly accepted these saboteur attacks and carrying it out with no shame, proudly. And I said this, 2 years ago, I have been on this agitation that we need to shut these political desperados down before they destroy what our founding fathers gave to us. They say it wasn't about Rivers. In Rivers, they went to carry structures without Congress to go and give to APC members. In Imo dissenting, they carried a member of Labour Party, one Austin or something, and made him chairman. So you can see that they are planting non-members of PDP for the inevitable agenda which they have to work for the opposition. And because they are political cowards who cannot boldly go to another political party and build structure, they need to, like parasite, leech on what our founding fathers has built to achieve their agenda for their paymasters. So I say that we ought to have had this NEC meeting a long time. But I'm alerting everybody again that there is plan again to abort this last effort being put in by governors and BOT to have the NEC meeting on March 13 or thereabouts. I have heard that run around the city again with the APC lawyers, looking for court to grant them injunction against the NEC meeting, against the removal of the secretary who has already been removed. There's a plot to abort the NEC meeting, I'm saying it boldly, by this time Anyanwu and Damagu, and get an injunction again so that they can stay in office till December, when they will now do the political nuclear bomb throwing of ensuring that they now hand over the party officially to full APC officers. So I want to salute the governors, yes, late but not bad, for coming boldly despite the complex nature of that decision, boldly standing for history to record them, that Udo Okoye is the national secretary of our party and the NEC meeting must hold in March. I want to appreciate them. Some of them I have castigated them in the past, but if that's why they are bold enough to do the right thing, sorry for castigating you, we must do the right thing. And I want to also thank the board of trustees. Recently they have been attacking Adolphus Nwabara. They used to be the ones that used to receive Adolphus Nwabara with red carpets. Because Adolphus Nwabara has refused to do the yeoman's dirty job, they are now saying that if Adolphus is their father, that they will disown Adolphus. You see the kind of thing that comes out from their mouth. When you don't dance to their tune, you become an idiot that will be attacked. But I want to appreciate Nwabara for, despite that attack, which is leaders, both Turaki, both Nwodo, both McAfee, and so on and so forth, they still stood firm and said, Anyanwu has no business with this party.